Your prayer life is about to change forever, and it's not with some secret formula or mystical chant, but with a foundational shift in how you perceive the very act of conversing with the divine. You've likely felt the frustration, the emptiness, the gnawing doubt that your words are simply echoing into the void, or perhaps you've grown weary of the same petitions, feeling your spirit dull with repetition. This isn't about praying harder or longer, but about praying differently, about unlocking a deeper dimension that most Christians, even the most devout, secretly miss. The first shocking truth you need to internalize is that prayer isn't primarily about asking God for things, it's about aligning yourself with His will. Think about it. How often do your prayers sound like a shopping list for your desires, rather than a surrender to His perfect plan? We come to God with our meticulously crafted requests, convinced we know what's best, when often His thoughts are higher than our thoughts, and His ways higher than our ways. Isaiah 55 verse 9. When you shift your focus from dictating to discerning, from demanding to discovering, your prayer life transforms from a burden into an exhilarating journey of revelation. You begin to seek His perspective above your own, understanding that true fulfillment doesn't come from getting what you want, but from embracing what He has for you, even if it looks radically different from your current vision. This isn't a passive resignation, it's an active pursuit of divine wisdom, a deep yearning to walk in step with the Creator of the universe. The second profound insight that will revolutionize your communication with God is embracing the power of thanksgiving before the answer manifests. Most of us pray, then we wait, then we might eventually give thanks if our petition is granted. But what if the order was reversed? What if you cultivated a heart of gratitude for the answer even before you see it, for the provision even before it appears, for the healing even while the sickness persists? This isn't a psychological trick. It's a profound act of faith that declares your trust in God's unfailing character. Philippians 4 verse 6 tells us to present your requests to God by prayer and petition with thanksgiving. Notice the with thanksgiving. This isn't an afterthought, it's an integral component of powerful prayer. When you give thanks in advance, you're not just expressing hope, you're actively demonstrating your conviction that God is faithful to His promises, that He is good, and that His timing is perfect. This preemptive gratitude shifts your spiritual atmosphere, moving you from a posture of scarcity to one of abundance, from anxiety to confident expectation. It's a powerful spiritual weapon against doubt and discouragement, a secret weapon that unlocks doors you didn't even know were shut. You will find that when you start thanking Him for what you believe He will do, your spirit is lifted, your faith is strengthened, and your vision becomes clearer, allowing you to perceive His hand working in ways you never noticed before. This isn't just about feeling better, it's about aligning your spirit with the divine flow of grace and manifestation. Thirdly, you must confront the hidden barrier of unforgiveness that silently chokes the life out of your prayers. You can meticulously follow every other principle, you can align, you can give thanks, but if bitterness, resentment, or a refusal to forgive a debt held against another resides within your heart, your prayers will be hindered. Jesus Himself warns us in Mark 11 verse 25, "And whenever you stand praying, if you have anything against anyone, forgive him, that your Father in heaven may also forgive you your trespasses." This isn't merely a suggestion, it's a critical prerequisite for unhindered communion with God. Unforgiveness acts like spiritual static, disrupting the clear signal between you and the Father. It creates a wall, a thick barrier that prevents your petitions from ascending and His blessings from descending. You might think you've moved on or that the offense wasn't that big, but until you consciously and completely release those who have wronged you, whether it was a minor slight or a deep wound, a part of your spirit remains in bondage, and that bondage restricts your prayer life. This requires genuine introspection, an honest look at lingering grudges, and a deliberate act of letting go, not for their sake, but for your own spiritual freedom and the unfettered flow of God's grace in your life. It's a challenging, often painful process, but the spiritual liberation that follows is profound and immediate, unlocking a new level of intimacy with God you never thought possible. Finally, and perhaps most crucially, your prayer life will radically transform when you allow the Holy Spirit to pray through you. Too often, we approach prayer as a purely intellectual exercise, formulating words in our minds and speaking them out. But the Bible reveals a deeper, more powerful dimension. Romans 8 verses 26 to 27 tells us, "Likewise the Spirit also helps in our weaknesses. For we do not know what we should pray for as we ought, but the Spirit Himself makes intercession for us with groanings which cannot be uttered. He makes intercession for the saints according to the will of God." This is a game changer. It acknowledges our human limitations, our inability to always know the perfect will of God for a given situation, and offers a divine solution. When you yield to the Holy Spirit in prayer, inviting Him to guide your words, your thoughts, and even your groanings, you are praying precisely according to God's will, ensuring that your petitions are perfectly aligned with His divine purposes. This might manifest as a sudden urge to pray for someone you hadn't thought of, a shift in your focus during prayer, or even a deep spiritual burden that compels you to intercede in ways you don't fully understand. It's about moving beyond rote prayers and into a dynamic, Spirit-led communion where God Himself is empowering your requests. This isn't about speaking in tongues necessarily, though it can be part of it for those who have that gift. It's about a deeper sensitivity to the Spirit's prompting, allowing Him to articulate the desires of God's heart through your own. When you lean into this divine partnership, your prayers cease to be merely human utterances and become Spirit-breathed declarations that move mountains and shift spiritual realities. Your prayer life will no longer be a struggle of words, but a powerful conduit for God's purposes on earth, a direct connection to His omnipotent power. Embrace these shifts and witness the supernatural unfolding in your life.